Hey guys, Greg here, the Vinyl Rundown. Sad day to report the death of a unusual guy in the world of jazz. Ken Nordine died today at age 98. I have one of his records. I'll tell you a little bit about this. This is called Word Jazz from, well, this is volume 3 from 1968, but Ken Nordine was this well known as a movie and TV announcer, not movies, but TV and radio announcer. Had a great big booming voice, but he basically invented this new genre of record called word jazz. So you got kind of a hip 50s jazz combo behind him, and then he reads these weird poems that are kind of funny, they're kind of insightful, they're kind of sarcastic. I've got it playing really softly in the background. I don't know if you can hear it. Don't want those copyright hits if I can avoid them. But 1957 he came out with Word Jazz #1. I'll drop in some pictures of these. I don't have any of these records except for the first, or I should say this one. 1957, then 1958, and then he did a couple other of these Word Jazz records. They're really interesting to listen to. The jokes are kind of a little bit corny, a little bit funny, but his voice is so compelling. He's been on the radio for decades and decades. He had a jazz radio show on the East Coast for like 40 years, and you've heard his voice in all kinds of different TV and radio ads over the years. He did some stuff with the Grateful Dead in the 90s. Really interesting guy. Sorry to see him go. I only just found out about him in the last couple of years, and I've been keeping an eye out for his records. So this record, this is a compilation, so it's not super desirable, but I got it for only $6. I got this last November, and I knew this day would come because he was in his late 90s. So he just died today at age 98. But let me just show you a little bit about this record. So this is volume 3, which is like a best of collection. The musicians on here aren't really well known. I don't really know any of them. But each one has its own little story, little poem. Some notes off the back say, Ken Nordine, a widely heard radio and TV announcer, is a provocatively intense man with he is remarkably able to articulate the far-ranging travels of the mind. This ability and his love for jazz has resulted in something he prefers to call a somewhat new medium. So, Ken Nordine, Word Jazz, Volume 3. This is 1968. I'm going to keep my eye out for the earlier records, Word Jazz 1, and I think the second one was called Son of Word Jazz. I see those for $40, $50, $60 routinely on eBay, and there are some reissues of those out. So anyway, that's a little tidbit about a unusual personality in the world of vinyl records and jazz, Ken Nordine. Sorry to see you go, and please consider subscribing to the channel, guys. Thanks for watching.